Aloha, ladies and gentlemen. Today, let's talk about 5 offensive reasons most fail at full time trading. The first offensive reason is you're a cheater, and it is definitely displayed in your relationships. You cheat in your relationships. You probably justify it, you probably rationalize it, you probably defend it, and you probably deny it, but you're a cheater. You cheat in relationships. That can be It's a variety of relationships. It doesn't have to be just a romantic relationship. It could be relationships with your children. It could be relationships with your siblings. It could be relationships with your other family members. In some way, shape, or form, you're a cheater in relationships. The the mental thought processes and beliefs that allow you to continue this type of behavior in your life, it might it might be getting you what you want superficially or even deeper in relationships. But those same decision making processes and relationship strategies, you can't implement those into the stock market. And where it leaves you vulnerable is you can't even really say this out loud to try to work out to other people. What are you going to do? You're going to say, dang, talk to your trading coach. I've been cheating on my wife for 15 years and I lie to her every day about it. And I can't implement the same thing. I'm not able to lie to my broker. I'm not able to cheat the same way in the stock market as I'm cheating on my wife. But it's something I habitually do. It's a strategy that I have. So when I'm trying to sell an iron condor, I'm trying to cheat my way into better premium, and it's just not working for me, or whatever it is. But cheating in relationships, now I won't know if you're a cheater, and I don't think you're going to let me know if you're a cheater. But you're the one that knows. Maybe someone that you cheated on knows too. Now, now, since we're talking about this, I will fully, in all transparency, to avoid as much hypocrisy as possible, admit that I have cheated in relationships. So, doesn't mean that you've done it before. You'll never be successful at trading, but it is something to look at, to be self-evaluative, I guess it would be the word. You want to be self-reflective. You want to realize that there's something going on in your mind that actually it's not in harmony. So this thought process, this decision making process, if it's unable to create successful situations in relationships, that may, and I think often does, flow over into the same decision making processes that you go through in trading. Now, some people, they're going to rationalize, they're going to justify, they're going to defend, they're going to deny, they're going to say they're two separate things. And uh, we'll see we'll see what happens in the long term of their life. Let's get on to the next one. Cheating in other areas of life, time clocks, games. When I was a kid, I don't know if it was notorious, but I look back and I feel like it was notorious that I was cheating in Monopoly. I would cheat on baseball card trades. I would cheat on comic book trades. I've never cheated on time clocks, but I know that there's people out there that will, if they can find a way to cheat on a time clock. And what I mean by that is a person will, let's say, stay clocked in when they're really not working. Maybe they left the job, but they stayed clocked in anyways, and they've got a way to work the system. There's no way to work the system in the stock market. So if your brain naturally looks for ways to cheat systems in order to quote unquote win, good luck. It's going to be extremely difficult. Now, the reason why it makes it hard to succeed at trading is because people that perpetually do this and that's part of their kind of decision making process, they're always looking for shortcuts. That's really it. And maybe always isn't the right word, but they look for shortcuts. They're looking for ways to basically get more of what they want without giving this equal value in return, or a what they're supposed to be giving in return. And there's just no way to do that in the stock market. If the stock costs $10, there's no way you can kind of cheat and only pay 9.75. Now, if you say, well, you could sell a put option at 9.75 and maybe you get a sign, that's not cheating. There's no way, if the put option you sell for the strike price of 9.75, if the if the if the amount of money that is being paid to the seller is $5, there's no way you can cheat and get 5.50. If you get 5.50, it's just going to be because the price of the premium of that option fluctuated. There's no way to cheat in it. So people that have built skill, and thank God I stopped doing this. I don't know exactly when it was, but it was in my journey of pursuing finances that I eventually I had people that I was learning from, and I was wise enough to just say, like, okay, this person knows more than me, so I'm gonna listen to what they say, and I'm gonna do my best to just believe it and live it. So thank God I got away from uh, all forms of cheating. And there's probably going to be times, if you're cutting down on the cheating, there's probably going to be times where maybe you fall short or whatever. And depends on your personality, right? But none of us are perfect, which we don't want to justify, though. We don't want to take the no one's perfect and have it turn into some sort of rationalization or something like this. So work on eliminating cheating habits. If you're a habitual cheater, look yourself in the mirror and figure out a way to do something about that. Over exaggerated opinion of intelligence. Man, the first person that showed me basically a stock chart really falls into this category. And I know someone recently in my life. Talk about over exaggerated opinion of intelligence. There's there are times when it's easy to have a great amount of intelligence in one area of life and think that that's going to automatically like flow over to this other area of life, specifically trading. It may or may not be true, but what seems to happen in a whole, as I've been just in this environment since about 2007 of learning these different things, I've heard time and time again that people, like the highly intelligent people, the doctors, the attorneys, the lawyers, the accountants, people like this, they're so smart in these areas, and then they get into the trading world and they don't do that well. I've heard a number of stories of playing the rich dad cash flow game, that kids were getting out, and these highly educated professionals weren't able to get out. They were confused, and it was actually making some of them upset. Get out of what specifically? Get out of the rat race. If you're not familiar with that game, it's a good game to get familiar with. So having this over exaggerated opinion of intelligence, one thing that will cost you is it will cost you, the price you pay for that is that you'll give up a relentless learning drive. Relentless learning drive. If you think you're so smart and you got it all figured out, you probably won't have that same fire that I've got to learn more. I've got to learn more. I've got to learn more. Under exaggerated opinion of intelligence. Some people think that it's just too complicated for them. They start running into a little bit of like cognitive trouble. I don't understand. It's confusing, and they give up. This is too hard for me. They give up. So these people also can run into trouble. But I think we hear more stories about the over exaggerated opinion of intelligence, because these people probably don't even make it to putting money in the account. They probably don't pull the trigger on actually making trades. But this is one you have to look out for too. Let's go on to number 5. Manipulates situations with communication. This can be anywhere from like nonverbal communication to verbal communication. It's probably a blend of the two. It could be bullying, it could be seduction. There's all these different scenarios out there where people are getting their way not through just like some honest effort, but through some sort of manipulation. Maybe you're good at arguing, and even though your argument, if someone were to really break it down, has full of logical fallacies, but you confuse the other person so much they just give up. Maybe you're a really big dude and you step in close and you physically intimidate people to get your way. Maybe you're a really beautiful woman, so you step in close to seduce people and get your way. There's all these different things, but none of those things will you will not be able to implement those things into trading in the stock market. And when I'm with these 5 things I'm talking about people that really have like this is what they do all the time. It's kind of like they're over the top heavy with it. If you're over the top heavy with it, it won't be good. Now, all these 5 things can basically be summed up as not taking enough responsibility. Yeah, it's pretty cliche. Responsibility, the ability to respond. You control your responses. But ultimately, for people that want to be a full-time trader, it's good to realize that most of us, like myself, grew up in an area where what's happening is you you're raised by parents who are taking responsibility for you. You go to a school, they're taking responsibility for you. Maybe you go to the military or maybe you go to college. Either one, they're taking some degree of responsibility for you. Maybe you go to a job, and even at a job, they're taking some degree of responsibility for you because you get a paycheck, right? It's coming out of someone else's money. Which side of the check do you sign? You sign the back or do you sign the front? The person who signs the front of the paycheck, that's the person who's actually taking responsibility for you. So when you are attempting to enter the world of full-time trader status, you are signing the front of the paycheck. There's no HR firm to complain to. There's no student counselor to air your grievances to. There's pretty much nothing. You can try to sue somebody. You can try to sue the broker and all this stuff. We'll see how it goes. Call up the broker and tell them, like, well, you didn't tell me, and I didn't know, and blah, blah, blah. See how it's going to go. Try to physically intimidate them. Try these different things that people do. It probably is not going to go very well for you. So the thing that I have been working on and that I still am not perfect at, but I'm doing my best to get better at all the time is taking 100% responsibility for 100% of my life. That means every single aspect of my life. I'm not going to, I hope that it's not coming across as that is what I do. That's what I am attempting to do. And I would say it's pretty often where I look back on something that I did and I was like, you know what? I could have done better. I could have done better. So hope it helps. I know it's a little bit different, but I think it is really, really crucial to understand that if you really want to be a full-time trader, it's going to start in here about how you make decisions and how you take responsibility for life, not just one aspect of life, life in total. How responsible are you? And then from there, other things fall into place that are more in the trading status. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day, whatever day it is you're watching this. Aloha.